All right, let's get the chat loaded up here.
Debugging says test.
One.
Mohan says, Mike, add a shelf that triggers with an icon button with icon 3 lines or 3 dots and put where menus their suggestion by the way. Mohan says, nice Chris.
All right. I think we are back.
Code says, after hamburger menu. Tim says, good evening, gents. Aurora Zir says, hey.
Hello, hello. What happened to our... All right. Hello, 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 hello. I appreciate you guys for joining me here once again. We are back. Just like, man, these days, like I say, they just keep coming, man. I feel like I don't ever leave this chair, really. I go home, or I go to work, I sit there in a chair, I sit at the bench, I do my work, I just sit at the analyzer, I do my tests, and then I come here, I sit here, and man, it's just... the days are blurring together here. Anywho, all right, you guys, we are here working on our project. Things are looking really, really nice, which is really good. So yesterday we left off on SpectroSim here with the, right? So today's going to be a little bit interesting. We are going to switch gears. I'm going to try to do something new. We're going to use plotly.js to do the plot.
IRL stream might take us for a hike FR. Mohan says, too much action, Mike. You gonna lose weight.
So yeah, it was, I think we'll use plotly.js here to render these plots on the front end. That's our goal for today, is to try to figure out if we can get at least a plot in this position, right? And then with plotly.js, it's going to be interesting. So let's go plotly. Use React plotly.js to embed D3 charts in your React-powered web application. This React component takes the chart type, data, and styling as plotly.json in its data and layouts prop, then charts the then draws the chart using plotly.js. See below about how to get started with React plotly.js. All right. So we want to run this installation here. So we have to be in the front end, so right, which is where we are. So let's go git status. Okay. So the point of why we're doing this is because it's just gonna be difficult to. It'll just be a lot less work on us at the end of the day, because rather than having to store plots and cache plots and whatever, what we can do is instead just store these values, plug them into the epsilon curve with the Beer's law, and then plot the function as a vector, right, on with plotly. And then we don't even need to worry about getting x and y values, right? There is no GIF happening here, or GIF, right? So that's why we're kind of going down this path. So let's run this installation here. All right, it's installing here. Quick start. The easiest way to use this component is to import and pass data to a plot component. Okay. This is a stub types definitions. Okay. I think we're okay. Okay. So let's go and create a new component here. Right, so we have a features here. I'm going to create a new feature called a plot.jsx. Okay, let's go export default function plot. So actually we can't really say plot, we'll say, let's say absorb sim plot, right? Okay, so let's go in and import these. So import React from React. We're going to import plot from plotly.js. So let me quickly, I want to ask the almighty orb real fast. Ooh. Let's ask the almighty orb here. I don't need to use class-based, I can use function-based components. Function-based component approach for plotly.js. React plotly. So I can't. Interesting. Okay, so let's just see what we can do here. Let's just return, right, a plot, right? Okay, so we have this now. Now let's go ahead and go to our SpectroSim page. Hey Carlos, how's it going, dude? Welcome back, my friend. How has that Python crash course been going for you? Did you finish the book? I know you were close. Okay, so let's find our plot here. So this is our plot area. So plot and download button. So this is our plot area here. So instead of this image, let's remove this image. So we're giving this some, so I'm going to just go up here and quickly I'm gonna go here and go import SpectroSim plot. Right, and then let's go back down here. Let's do sim plot. Open that up. Oh, nice. How to put it down is closed, but I'm planning on getting back to it soon. Nice, dude. What are you working on right now? Thanks for coming in, dude. Okay, so that looks pretty good so far. So then let's go ahead and let's add in this class to our plotly plot. Right, and then let's remove this image. So width is 150 here. So I say if width is 250. No, it doesn't matter because, right? So if I need to go like this, let's go here. Let's put the plot in its own div here. Right. Okay, let's put the plot in its own div. And then let's give the width of 150. To here. There we go. Now we have a plotly plot. Right. So I can't pass in class stuff to this plot itself. Just let me go like this. Let me take this Control X out of here, go into here, and then pass into here that. So the thing is you can't round the borders. No, I don't think so, because you have these plot icons here. And then these can have you save, right? Okay, so you can take screenshots of the plot. Okay, so now we have our plot here. It currently overflows, which isn't good. And then something's going on here. That's just a visual glitch. Okay. So what if I set the width here to 150? Okay, let's just leave it, I guess. I'm going to take out of this div. Okay, but then I'll go over here and give a width 150. Right, because it's got no data, it's not filling out. Okay, let's go back to our plotly here. So let's go ahead and see, let's put in some dummy data here. So if I take this data from the quick start, put this here, now we get data. If I say 100%, width, applies. If I say 500, is it bigger? But if I don't set the height, I just make it automatic. You have to set the height. So we'll say 500 by 100. No, we'll say 150. 400 with the 600. Okay. Give a layout of, we'll say fit.
Tim says, will there be lead today?
We'll say height is also going to be fit.
Alexander 6 says, Paladin. Back with Snack says, you hello from the wearable community of
Oh, we got a raider. How's it going? Hey, dudes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys joining me. My name's Mike. 26, and I got a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company, and I'm making a chemistry simulator site here, which is a full stack kind of chemistry site, where we have some API calls to pubchem.com, right? So I wrote this web scraper script to parse using regular expression, JSON, and requests to do a call and actually get some compound information. See right here. It's kind of hard to see. Right here, we get this compound aspirin via just a string input.
all I heard is umbrella core. Alexander 6 says, oh holy smokes, that's cool.
Yeah, so we have aspirin here, and then we get the information of aspirin, which is nice. And so we're going to save that on these request calls for this search here. And then right now we're converting our matplotlib generation of, so I wrote a script to also use Gaussian distribution and Beer's law, chemistry's Beer's law, to generate these plots here for absorption spectroscopy. So as you pass light source through at a very concentrated wavelength through a solution, the solution absorbs some of that light, like as if you were to pass, red light through a red window or whatever. So and not much gets on the other side, but if you pass green light through, or is it the vice versa? I can't remember. Just like absorbs like, so that it would take in red light. So as you can see at this wavelength for methylene blue, it absorbs a lot of the energy of this light source at this wavelength. So you can kind of make like opaque filters or things like that in chemistry. And so this is we're pulling some information from the API, scraping it, and then we're going to plot it here. I've been styling this page for the past couple of days. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Sorry I missed your comments. Thanks for the follows, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Back with Snacks, Alexander6. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. We're going to probably do some leak codes later tonight, Tim. So we'll probably do one before we head out. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to... Right now we're calling... Hold on. So right now in our absorb-sim, we have our plot. And then we have, so I think I do need a div to surround this plot, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a padding to this div, or this plot. Padding, or local class name. Thanks so much, dude. Appreciate you for coming in, man. Ooh, now we're getting some bleed here. Why is that? Because it's not shrinking, right? Because it's at 100%. So I need to say fit to its current container. No. Right, so this absorption plot is fitting into its current container. So if I give a width of fit here, no, I'm still getting that bleed in. So if I remove the plot altogether, what happens? It's just not shrinking, right? So that's the issue, is the plot is not shrinking. So the plot that I'm giving width of 100% here in this class. Let's get rid of that. If I remove this, does that shadow go away? Yeah, so that is styling, right? Okay, so this is just the dummy plot. So why isn't this shrinking? So style. Config responsive true. Okay. So if you put, you have text. So if I go here and do config responsive, true. No. For more advanced users of state management, customizing plots and bundle.
Motivate says, hey man.
Hey, how's it going? Appreciate you coming in, Motivate. Thanks for joining me here. What you guys working on? Appreciate you guys being here. So we need to...
Mohan says, lead 150 gonna be easy medium for you, Mike. Motivate says, how long did you started coding?
I've been coding for 11 months now, from scratch. Okay, so let's say like, how can I have a plot auto shrink in its container? I spelled that so bad. Use resize handler. True. Okay, so we want to say use resize handler equals to true as well. Okay, that does not do it. Is this saying fit? What if I say 100% of its current container? So if I apply a border, right, that's why. Okay, so let's think here. Let's go back to our thing here. Let's open up this and let's do a border here. Okay, so what? Hey, how's it going? Just hey, the TTS. That's so bad. Okay, so right now we're getting some bleeding, right? It's not the plot isn't resizing appropriately on overflow. So let's think here. So currently, yeah, so we have the border on this, and then let's also put a border on this guy so we can see. Okay.
Mohan says, Tim says lead 150 looks fun.
So if I say padding of like 10 here, this forces that out because that is stuck. So why is the plot stuck at this fixed width? Thanks so much for the follow, dude. I appreciate you. Yeah, let me pull out my cell. I have to go on the Twitch dashboard and see when I get follows. My bad, you guys. I need to get like a I need to get a stream announcement thing. Ah, come back, Mr. Sexy's AirPods. Thanks for all the follows. Appreciate you guys so much. We're at 117 on Twitch, which is really cool. Okay, I'll put my phone up there so I can see the follows come in.
Justosophy says, you were top of my random recommended list.
Oh, nice, dude. Okay. Elite 150 looks fun, Tim. I think we've started it, and we switched over to just regular Elite code. Okay, so why isn't this plot responsive? Which is 80%. Let's get rid of this padding. but it's filling to this plot, right? Width is 100% of its container size, right? I don't even think I need this, right? I just need... So what if I say width 10 here on the plot itself? And if I remove this, oh, that's the container the plot is in. Oh, okay, so the plot has a container itself, right? Gotcha. So let me take this out. And then can I go onto the layout here and can I just do no, I can't. Can't use Tailwind here. So the plot has data. What's going on here? Why did it break? So if I delete this, it's still broken? It's fine. Okay. So width is 100% of its container. So I'll say width here will be fit to its container. No. Anybody have any ideas why this is bleeding? Auto size true under layout. So if I go, I give a P of, right, it just pushes, it doesn't, Okay, so let's go to our div here. Let's say resize. Overflow auto. So what happens if I... What happens if I remove the plot? Can't return anything. Can't return nothing. Plot won't shrink. Anybody have any ideas? Layout. I'm gonna take out the div here. Right. We'll just have that. I'm gonna wrap the div here for now, just so I can have it on the same page. Okay. So if I go, I need to apply a minimum so layout, auto size true. Let's set no width here. Let's set no height here. Does not resize. Auto size equals true. Title. Config responsive true. Reuse handler true.
Mohan says, Mike, can I know what's the problem you need help with?
I just can't get the plot to shrink here. So what if we call this?
Arya says, hello guys, what's up?
Hey dude, how's it going, Arya? Appreciate you for joining me here. Thanks for stopping into the stream. Appreciate if you guys leave a like.
Use aspect ratio, I guess.
So if I go width here is fit to the container. I'll say flex. No, not flex. Why not flex? Flex shrinks it way down. Ah. is a struggle. Just need this plot to respect the boundary. I give the class name width full, height full. Right.
Mohan says, try aspect ratio 16/9 and MX auto.
No. Responsive true style with height. So if I add this style with height 100%
Mohan says,
within the
MX auto.
plot. Okay, so that's filling the div container. Why is it doing that then? Border. Why is this border? Then width of the plot. So now okay, now it's being responsive, but which so let me do the div here, put the plot inside of the div, remove this div, okay, so if I give this div is fitting to the content within it, so I need this div to not fit within the content. I need this div. To be width full. Okay, we're getting closer. Hey, Dev God, welcome in, dude. Thanks so much for the positive words. Okay, we're getting closer here, you guys. So we have this div, class name here. So we'll say border. So this is around the here. I'm gonna remove this border. That should remove it around.
Devka 2020 says Tailwind classes go brr.
Okay, now we have some pad.
Heidegger says what you doing came late.
How's it going? No worries. Okay, let's set an aspect ratio then. Okay, so we need to set the plot.
Devka 2020 says, basically here I guess to learn about SpectroSimming before bed.
Nice. Alright, so we'll go flex, justify center. So why is that sticking to the right? So if I say
Heidegger says, do you have a video about Java?
no, I haven't learned Java myself personally, sorry. Thanks so much for coming in though. Welcome. Okay. Okay, so now it's sort of doing it, but the plot stretches out. No.
Remove the space.
No.
Devka 2020 says ooh. Devka 2020 says the bots are hungry.
Width is full. None of that works. Right, so then if we say so what if we say here on the div, let's go
Tim says Oklahoma is going to the NBA Finals, Mike.
let's make a video. They won? Dude, Oklahoma City's going to the finals. They haven't been to the finals since KD and Westbrook. I'm jealous. What can I say? Okay, so that is sort of what we want, right? But it's just like that, it's just pretty laggy, right? So can I instead of doing this style, can I give oh, that directly applies to the plot. So if I...
Tim says might be searching software engineering jobs in Oklahoma City. Okay.
Nah, not Oklahoma City. I mean, it just looks terrible, in my opinion. Look at that, it just stretches way too far out. So I need to set can I set a width minimum of like 300 pixels? So aspect ratio 16 by 9. I don't want to fix that. I don't think. So now the div expands. So I then don't want to say the plot width is 100% of its container here. I want to say width is so if I go class, what happens if I go here and I say flex? What happens if I say padding 10? Yeah, it goes all nuts. Oh, styling is killer. It's a plot itself. Right? So then it's stretching out. Stretching out. So what if I want to fix the plot? So let me expand this out. Let me say the width is 300 pixels. 500. 600. 550. 575. So now it's set there, right? At 575. Which is fine. So now if I set here, I go here and I say flex, justify center. Okay, now we have a similar makeup as we did before. And the plot is shrinking to this size. So I don't want the height to go to 100%. What the heck? If I set the width, this is what I get no matter what, right? But that shrinks the plot. So instead of shrinking, instead of scaling inward, how can I have it just maintain the aspect ratio? That just makes the aspect ratio 16 by 9. No. Okay, so right now it's bleeding. Let's say overflow. It says flex. I'm regretting my choice of going to plotly here. Ah! Well, this was a bummer. Just isn't really what I wanted. It's not very it's like the responsiveness is pretty terrible. So what if I like got rid of this and I got rid of this and I got rid of this? So if I make it a fixed size, it's not bad. But resizing the plot, by 50, makes it look like that. So if I say in I just do this. Yes, I can. So then can I say so it's still bleeding. So if I bring back the resize, but then I say large.
Mahan says, I mean if you want it fixed and not scratched you need to use aspect so the ratio of height and width is fixed number.
Yeah, probably. Set a minimum width. Set 4x3. How do I do this? No, it's just not shrinking. It's bleeding in. Cool. So now it's respecting the container. do I have? Flex, space, transition all. So if I, on the div here, I say transition all, and I also say duration of 300. I say ease in and out. So the thing is why is it? Let me take this out of here. Let me apply it here. So if I say it still wants me to use this with full. Wait. Full. So it still wants me to use this style here. Doesn't necessarily do anything. Oh no, my headphones died. Come on. Come on. Alright, what do you guys think so far? Okay, right. So we have
Tim says rip MR Sexy's AirPods.
You guys are funny. Okay, so that's fine, I guess. So then if you make it big, oh crap. No. Okay, so with the download button, okay. Flex, justify center. So let me put a border here. Right, this is justifying left. Shoot. So if I justify center here, see now my button goes all the way out here instead of being with the plot. Now I could throw it into the plot then. Right into here. And give flex column here. But then I need to give a div to the download button inside of here. Right. Where I go here and I say class flex justify How do I want to do this? So if I have a button, I want to line up. So I have a div. Let's put a border here. Let's put one here as well so we can see. Okay, this and my right section are doing the exact same things. Right. So let's remove this overarching div. Right. So then I have a div wrapping around here, which I'm going to have width of fit. See, why does it wrap that up? Width of full makes it extend the full length. So when I extend it out, I have gap. I have this div here. So I want to get this button. So then let's say we have the generate plot, which is in its div container. Then if we have a div container that contains both of them, or wait, hold up. I know we just got rid of that, but we have, because right here is our plot. So they're both in there and they're being justified. If we say left here, I'll move this. Left here. Let's just the items to the left. Doesn't center the overarching flex. Justify center, item center, full. For the right section. So this is supposed to be flex center for what's inside here. My right section center. Okay, so we have right section flex, justify center, item center, width full, large border, plot and download button, div border flex, flex column, items start, rather, width full, responsive plot. So if I give a gap of 2, here, not here. Right, Those are still off to the left. Why? If I remove this, so then why do I have, well, the gap is doing that. So then why are these not aligned center in the overarching right side? Flex, justify center, item center. Flex, justify center, overarching right subsection. Right, because I think it's because it has with the full here. So my plot though has, I thought we need a min width. No, it doesn't resize. Right section, height, it's full. If I say height, max height. Because it's setting to the minimum width of the contents of here. It's not growing. So min width of so I need my plot to resize down. That puts me at this, right? And now it doesn't resize. Why? what did I do here? Width full on what's containing. This plot here, right? Let's put it here. Okay. Flex column with full capture. So then here we want to okay, so let's set the div. Okay, Jesus, this is confusing. Okay, so we have width and height 100% of its current container. Let's copy this class out of here. Right. Now let's set that into the div container out here. Okay. And then if I go flex, justify center, items, center, here. Right section. Inner content, plot and button using justify center, and which works, but you're also setting width full and everything was shorted. Send to the right in section inside the parent section. Right section gets flex, justify center, item center, width full, large, and then border. Plot and download button container has border, has flex column, width full. Okay, so then here, it wants us to put, so on just on the container for the, here we say width full, aspect 4.3. And then here you say flex column, width full, gap 2. You put the max width here. And you say, get rid of that. You say items, start. There we go. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. Okay, so now I think we can remove our borders. Nice. Update the config prop. So if we go, so let's go to the config prop here. We're going to call display logo false. Now we don't get that. I'm going to call mode bar buttons to remove. I'm going to remove the to image button. And then can I say, what else? What are my other options here? Auto size, ID sync, absorb. Okay. Nice. So let's say okay. Let's do this. I'm going to take some dummy data here. So my compound, right? My compound has generated absorption. Let's go with my main function here. So in here, I'm saying for value in generate absorption, print the value.
Aj Brady says, just stopping by to say hi.
Hey dude,
Have
hey,
fun with your project.
Hey AJ, appreciate you for coming in, dude. Welcome in. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. Not bad. Okay, so we got to figure out, we have wavelengths. So these are X and these are absorptions. Okay, got you. So our wavelengths are our X values. So our wavelengths is in our globals, which is here, which is just 1,000 values, right? Okay, I guess it's time to link these up, right? Now we need to link these up. Okay, but I need to have a saving mechanism happening. I don't even know where to start, dude. Well, let's first see if we can get searches going. Okay, I am ready to link up my search feature input to my API function request function on my back end.
Art 2005 says Yo how's Liffy. Art 2005 says Goin.
Hey, how's it going, dude? Ark, I appreciate you for joining me again. How you doing, man? We're working on our project here.
Art 2005 says lol.
Okay. So, okay, we have our plot mix.
Art 2005 says. Art 2005 says. Art 2005 says HI.
Hey, dude. I'm gonna say 650 pixels. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I'm gonna say 750 pixels. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Then it'll scale down. Well, let me really quickly here add a border to my right section total here. Okay, it's still in the middle. Good. Just gonna add a little bit more of a gap here in between the items as a whole. So here we'll add a gap of 6, about 8. So now it wraps a little bit sooner, or it shrinks down. And then goes. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I might need to set a fixed width on this and then center it as well. That's something I'm noticing here. Alright, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's keep it going. Okay.
Anand says hey what's up.
Hey dude, how's it going? Welcome back in, Anand. Appreciate you joining me here again. Oh shoot. What happened here? What's going on with my Python? Okay. SpectroSim. What's going on with my code? Git add. We say converted static image slash matplot like image to plotly.js on front end. Okay. Nice. Okay, so now we're ready to start setting this up here. How should I organize my back? Endpoint services core conference. Okay, so let's go here. Let's create a new directory called Backend.
Anand says turns out the secure file streaming system I came up with at work was actually a pretty standard one. I'll be posting a blog on it soon. Quite an interesting system design for sure.
Nice, man. That's awesome. That is really sweet. Yeah, you have to post in the Discord about it so we can check it out. So backend. So inside our backend we have, I'm going to throw all this stuff back. This globals main pie. I think I can delete these because I have them here. Then I also think I can delete this node modules folder. Right. And then requirements we'll put into backend. Okay. Now let's make sure this still works. Okay, everything still works. Refresh. Yep, okay. So now let's say git status. We're on dev front end, so git add here, git commit. We'll say factors backend push that. Okay. And then what I'll say is git status here on dev front end. I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna say git checkout dev, git merge dev front end. Here we go. Okay, now we're on front end. Cool. Now we push those up. Nice. And we're back here. All right. Sweet. Okay. We're all synced up here.
Locta says, mornin'.
Morning, dude. How's it going? So backend, our main function pi here. Okay. So in our main function right now, this is what it looks like. So this, okay. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so, right, all of this is just static stuff for getting it and generating it statically here. So we won't be using any of this stuff either. Right, because we create a compound, we load the information onto it, and then we append it in. And then we access it, give it a concentration. Right, so if I go classes, I'm going to put in my backend as well. What am I? I'm on Git. What's my status? Git. Okay, I'm on dev. Good. Okay, so now let's go classes and put that in the back end. Database, put that in the back end as well. Okay. So then in our classes here, for concentration, we're setting it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Got you. Okay. All right, in our main function here, we're going to set this up. Okay. Get our API endpoint set up here. Based on what you told me so far, you're searching for compounds and generating plots. You probably need a get for the search and a post to optionally generate and return data. Okay. So we're on SpectroSim here. So let's go install fast API. Okay. Okay. Let's go app.get. Okay. Def. We'll just say read root here, just for the example given. And we're going to return just a dictionary message working. So now if we cd into backend, I go, no, let's go cd back here. Let's go back. Let's go uvicorn backend dot main hold on, let's say uvicorn inside the backend directory. Okay, so let's go cd backend, and then let's go here, uvicorn app on main reload. And the module name backend. Module not found. Can I get a link? Yeah. Okay, message working. All right, you guys, we're getting our back end set up here. Let's get this figured out. Okay. Grab the string query passage. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's find a Git route for slash compound or slash absorb sim absorb sim compound, right? Compound name, compound name, get compound name. Okay, which takes in a parameter of name, which is a stir, by default equal to none. Right. we have it checked right away. So we say if not name, right, we're going to raise. Hey, Wolfie, how's it going? Yeah, we're trying here. We're going to raise HTTP. So we need to let's do the HTTP exception here. Raise HTTP exception, okay, with the status code equal to 400 and detail equal to missing compound name. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna put, we're gonna make a file called database. Database.json. So I'm gonna rename this to compound cache. I'll name this to cache. Compound cache. Why isn't my text-to-speech breaking? Yeah, I think my chat's busted. What's going on here? Why is my chat busted? There we go. Alright, now it should be working. Oh, my stream dropped, that's right, okay. Alright. So we have cache, compound cache.
Wolfie Master says, Mr. Sexy.
I had that from back when I was like 11, when AirPods first came out or whatever. Okay. So now we need to write a function basically.
Wolfie Master says, Michael is now Mr. Sexy.
Okay, so let's go. We have our main pie here. Okay. So if not name, we raise this error, right? Okay. If not name, we raise this error. If we get a name, right? If we get a name, we're going to try to look in the cache. So I'm going to say with open we're going to open up this path with open backend cache compound cache.json in read mode, right, as file. We're going to say content equals so we'll call JSON.dump data. No, I don't want to call write data. I want to read. I need to parse this JSON, right? So open this file as file. We want to save the contents. It's file dot or JSON dot load file. Let me look up without the list. Read it file directly. Okay. So if I call here, if I call this slash compound name, and I serve this equal to a string of name, detail not found. So if I say equal to just name here, no string, I get not found. Now I get missing compound name if no name given. Okay. Okay, we're accessing this endpoint, which is good. So now I'm going to say return now if I go here, how do I give a name? Not found. How do you give a name variable within the, is it slash name? Not found. Oh, so you go like this. I was going to change this to compound. So we'll change this to compound. You go compound, question mark name equals to Michael. Internal server error. Return internal server error. We say internal server error.
Anand says read the error first. Lotta says, the text is so small.
Zoom in here. That's like way too zoomed in for me. Let me see if I can go. No. Let's break the difference. 21. 21's really big. Okay. with open backing as file. Let's go ahead and let's go here. Let's say let's print content. No such file or directory. So we're in main right now, which is currently in backend. So we don't even need to go to backend. We can just call cache or /cache. No such directory.
Says, I shall go away now. Have a good
There we go. All right, see you, dude. Thanks for coming in. All right, now we got it. All right. Woo! All right, here we go. We're cooking now, boys. We're cooking now. Okay, now we're getting our information here, which is good, right? I know this one's really small. Let me zoom in. We're getting the information here. Okay.
Locke says, good luck with the code. Anand says, see you got it. Software Engineering 101. Read the code errors.
Chill, for real. Okay. Okay, so now we're getting the content. I had to print. That's why we need to see what's going on. Okay, now we're getting the content here within our cache. So I'm looking for name Michael though, and I'm printing the content. So return content. Okay, got you. So then we're gonna say like this. So JSON is on here, which is a content and a list that is a dictionary object. So a list of dictionaries, right? Okay. So this is a list of dictionaries, right? So content, I'll put a thing here. Content is a list of dictionaries. Each dict is a compound. Okay. Okay, we know that. So now what we're going to do is we need to go into this content. We want to get
Anand says, here is a suggestion next time when you build backend APIs. Standardize your outputs to return data in a uniformly structured format across the entire application.
That's how we're doing it, dude. Right. So it's a list of dictionary objects. Okay, so next thing we need to do is we need to parse through the content, right? And get the name. How do I want to set up the... Okay, so let's think. So we have compound data here. I wanted the key of a dictionary. So is it... Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted a dict of dicts, right? I want a dict of dicts where I have... This is... quote, methylene blue here. And the value is a dictionary here. Like such, right? Let's keep it like this. We'll keep the name in here as well. And you have methylene blue be the key though, so we can get it fast. So then what we'll do is now if we print content, right now we're getting methylene blue as the name here, perfect. So what I'm going to say is, instead of this, right, we're going to say or say compound is equal to content.get the name input that we have dot lower, right? We'll say if found compound, return compound name, found compound name, and found compound as the value, right? Because we're getting the value of it. So now, if I type in here, we should say if else, right? Raise HTTP exception with a status code of 400 and a detail equal to compound not found in cache. Okay, so if I refresh this, we should get that error. Internal server error. None type object has no attribute lower. Okay. I can't call this directly to here. I need to call it to name.lower here. Now I should get the error. Boom. Yes! All right. All right, now if I give it methylene blue here. No! Y key error methylene blue. Okay, so we need to force this to lower. Okay, and now we can just force this here. Right, that was just doing a temporary conversion. Key error methylene blue. Oh, we want to return compound name here. And the found compound. There we go. Woo! We're cooking, boys! Look at us go. Look at us go. Okay, Okay, we're gonna get the value of the found compound. Yes, Anon, we're doing it. We're doing it here. Okay? Or else we're raising the error. Okay, and so on these errors, right, we're going to search for the API, right? So let's try that. Okay, so let's go ahead and say we need to so our parser here, our web scraper file.
Anand says not found HTTP code is 404.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's 404, my bad. Right, so we're getting name, aspirin, CID, solvent, lambda, epsilon. Okay. Okay. Based off this, we have web scraper. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna say from web scraper import all as well. Okay. So right off the jump, if they submit this button with no thing, we get this error, right? Missing detail. Okay. There was no submission found. Else we get a name and we lower it and we open up our cache. So this is open the cache file and I keep getting notifications, I feel like I am. Let's check on Apple stock here in after hours. 206.86 holding up there. Nice. I need 210 tomorrow on Apple stock. I got 210 calls. Ooh, Reddit's pushing up to 110. Dude, I was really considering buying some calls down at below 100. I'm kind of triggered I didn't.
Lennon says, are you an undergrad?
I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I have a, yeah, I have a degree in history.
There says, how is your cash going to work? Is it just temporary?
I don't know yet, Aurora Store. I got to figure that out. So right now it's just going to be a JSON file within our backend database here. So it's like, and the thing is Vercel won't let us grow files unless we pay for it, right? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I'm not exactly sure. Right? So my cache was basically to just pre-save the compound information from these queries so I don't have to query the API over and over again. Okay. So let's think here. I'll code for about another. Dang, it's already 9:30, you guys. The time just goes by so fast, dude. Like, it's really, really frustrating, you guys. Like, I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, but it just feels like I just can't catch a break on time. Like, I don't know. I'm not stressed. Like, I feel no stress, but I do feel like I'm just constantly like looking at the clock and being like, oh, I'm out of time. Well, gotta go to bed, go to do the next thing, start this thing over. It's just like, and I don't know, dude. Time is really wrecking me coming into my late 20s. Late 20s, dude. Holy crap. What am 26? Old fart. Okay. So if a compound, we were going to return that just right away. So we're going to just, we'll handle that on the front end, right?
Anand says feel you bro, as Eminem said yesterday went by so quick. It feels like it was just today.
Yeah, I know, man. I am in the same boat. It's just getting torched over here.
Manoa says real. Time in programming is like time traveling.
Yeah, man. If you get into like a flow and start working, like 3 hours can go by, and then next thing you know, like your whole night's gone. Like I wanted to hang out with my dog. I feel so bad. She's just laying there. Hey, let me give you some love. You just laying here. You just lay here every night watching me code. I feel so bad. That's why I try to take her on the weekends to go do stuff, like to parks and stuff. I just feel so bad, coding all night. But I gotta keep grinding, and life moves on. It's a struggle, you guys. You guys aren't in the adulthood yet. If you guys are younger, and this isn't some unk advice or nothing, but it's just enjoy that time where it just seems like time is slow. I know it's no one ever says enjoy the slow time, but it really ramps up on you fast, man. Okay, so we gotta keep losing our focus. So if we find a compound, we're gonna return it. Else, if we don't find a compound, we need to query our database, right? So let's get rid of this first. So, or not query our database, but do our web scraper. So we're going to call.
Jacob says I feel you. I am working on my own app and 2 hours flown by so quick.
Yeah, Jacob, you and me both here, dude. You and me both, man. I appreciate that's good on you for working on this alongside me, dude. Nice, dude. Good work. I'm saying dude a lot. Okay. So else we want to call get CID on this name, right? So we want to get CID on this name. This is going to return back to us a dictionary object, right? So I'm going to say compound dict is equal to here. We're going to say, this is going to get kind of ugly here quick, guys, but we're going to say if not so CID, what does CID raise if you don't get it? Except for a key error, except for a type error, print this. Compound name not valid, invalid search response is the type error.
Anand says raise a generic error as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which error to catch here.
Anand says at the end.
Yes. So I think we want to catch this key error.
Anand says so that you can catch other errors that you don't see yet.
I'm going to say accept error. Can I just say accept error? If not compound raise. So I say if not compound, no, so
Anand says simply raise HTTP exception.
I need to catch an error though. So let me do this. Rather than, so this tries and does this, right? It tries to, I think I need to catch the type error. So try to do this, except for a type error as E, print E, and then let's continue on and say, if you don't get a compound ID, we're going to raise the HTTP exception here. Can I say or key error as E, print E, raise exception for missing compound name. So if you get the compound, you return it. If you have a found compound here within the cache, then you try to get a compound ID from the, right? So let's go ahead and then print here, cc or compound dict.
Anand says you can catch as many errors as you can. The best practice is to catch the most useful ones in their separate except blocks, and then simply raise the rest in a common block.
Yeah, okay. We could break it up. So if we just print the dict saying we found one, okay? So let's try this. So let's call compound name equals aspirin. I don't have this one. It's taking forever. Oh God. Oh God. Where are we stuck?
Anand says right now, HTTP exception is only going to give you the info missing compound name in case of both type error and key error, which is not ideal.
It's alright, dude. We'll deal with it later. Oh, snap. Something went wrong. Something happened to our server. I think so. No module requests found.
Adhip says, what are you trying to build?
We're trying to link our backend up to our front end here. No module named requests. No module name. I didn't install it? Oh crap. Huh. Alright, whatever. I'll install it. No module requests. Huh. Let's keep going. Let's just at all these, I guess. Here. I need to install this into back root directory. Echo source. I thought it was already auto syncing into the virtual environment. What? Why does this have to be in your Mac username? No, I have Python venv as my active state runner in VS Code. Open VS Code command palette, Python, select interpreter, Python virtual environment, recommended. Huh.
Knowledge says first time seeing graduates doing something other than college work. Knowledge says I love it.
Graduates. Grad students or graduates? By auto selecting, is the V&V not always active with it being my selected interpreter? Oh.
Knowledge says, have you been to any hackathons yet?
No, I haven't. I work too much. So if I get compound name equals Michael null. What's going on? Oh.
Knowledge says, are you using like any API that are resulting that 404 error? Manoa says, what's your job if you don't mind me asking?
Blue. Yeah, I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a chemist. I make biological controls. Okay, so yeah, I guess print compound. Got methylene blue. Oh, no, this is printing content. So no, I don't want to print content. Okay, it is getting it. It's getting it. Okay, so if you get it, right, and then we're going to say this thing here.
Knowledge says, are you using any API in this one?
Yeah, we're using Fast API. So I wrote a script to parse the PubChem website and get this data information here via a regular expression. So that's this function, this here, or this is my class, my web scraper. Where are you at? Here, right? So we get the CID, we get the data, we then extract it with a regular expression pattern, and then we extract it into groups, and then, right, and then we get some data off of it. Compound solvent equals this. String and return compound dict. Okay, so this gives us get CID. Now we're going to return name and founded. Okay, here we go. So if I do for Michael, I get internal server error. None type is not scriptable on line 40, which is here. So if I print compound dict here.
Please don't say it's your first project, or else I will get humbled.
No, so if you can go to my site, michaeldeming.com. This is one of my projects. I have a portfolio website that I wrote from scratch with React. Right, and so you have my employment experience, education, GitHub, about, blog, and then here are my 5 projects so far. My most recent one is this site, and then also chromaplot.com. If it'll load with render.com, I'll show you guys when that loads. Okay, so we are getting, so let me say print quote here and compound dict. So if I refresh this, none object not scriptable. So I put
Knowledge says, thank God, it's not your first project. You made me question my existence for 1 minute.
No, dude, I've been I stream every single day after my 9 to 5 job, trying to teach myself how to code. I've been teaching myself for about 11 months now, so I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. Um, yeah, let's get the tunes going again. Okay, so what is this error? Line 37, func, none object not scriptable in line 41. So it's still trying to return this. So if you find a compound, we return the compound name right then and there. Else, you didn't find a compound. Right? So else, you try to get the compound name, you try to parse for the compound name and print this. Why isn't this printing? Where?
Knowledge says, how do you stay focused with music in background? I can't, and yeah, sorry if I am disturbing your focus via
No, dude, you're
chat.
good. I like your questions. I've been doing it for a while. I like to help it just drown out my... It helps it drown out like that, like ADHD that kind of wanders. So we're getting a none object. Oh, so this might be printing none. So let me look up here. Command F. Here. There. Error, compound name invalid. Compound name invalid. So I know that's coming from my web scraper here. Compound name invalid on the key error. We have a type error.
Knowledge says, what motivated you to learn coding while holding a really good degree?
Can I return? Instead of raising, can I return an HTTP error? No, you raise the HTTP error. So why? So why is this still running then? Right? I don't get why this is still running past here. So we got a type error. Oh, we're getting a type error here. We're getting a key error at that as well. I don't know. What do you guys think? So we're doing response.json. We're returning the name that was given and the CID.
Knowledge says, can you explain me the error? Maybe I could think something too.
I'm actually not really sure what's going on entirely. So, right, you query for a name, right? You do a GET request for a name. We open the cache file and search the cache file for previously stored information regarding that compound name. If we find a compound within the cache, we're going to return that right away. Else, we didn't find a compound, so we're going to try and get the CID of that compound. Except if we get any type errors or key errors, we have those errors as E, and we raise the exception with the detail as E. I guess I'll say if compound dict here, we'll print the compound dict and return. So this is still trying to parse on a none type object. So compound dict is an empty dict, is just a none. But why would, no. Oh. Still getting here none. Okay, good. Except, can I just say error? Is that a keyword in Python? No. Except key error is E. Error compound name invalid. So if it's type error, well, no, the key error is getting hit, right?
Or as there says is compound dict declared inside the try block and C you would have to return inside the try block I made.
So let's take this and put this here. So this is printing none no matter what. We return. Type error, object type error.
Knowledge says is it like our code is having issues with file handling as you put JSON in get compound maybe verify.
Object of type error is not JSON seriable. Okay, I'm just gonna go like this. So let's go to our web scraper. Right. Here. I'm just going to so we have a response via this URL from right, get URL this name, compound data. So let me just do this then. Let's just do this, and let's see if we get any errors here. So in main.py, if I run this, I get a key error, identifier list. Right, except for a key error. So we'll bring that back, try, except for a key error. We're going to return key error. Okay. Oh no, we're gonna raise our own key error, I think, right? Or I'll just say raise a value error, right? And we'll say invalid compound name. Right. So that's what will be returned. And then we'll raise the value error there. So then I'll say, except for a value error as E, raise the exception as to detail as E. And I was calling the wrong thing the whole time, so I think that was our problem. Oh my gosh, stupid idiot.
It says I just pushed and committed my own stuff for now. Hope you can figure out your issues. Good night, Michael.
Good night, dude. Thanks so much for stopping in. I appreciate you for coming in. Thank you so much. In value error. During handle exception, another exception occurred. Trace back. Response. Stir E. So now, there we go. Okay. So Michael's not found, 404. Sweet. So now, if I go like this and I give aspirin, what happens? Oh! Let's go! Okay. Nice. So now we get our API call is successfully displaying that information. Okay, here we go. So we're going to get the CCID.
Ford Murin says, GG.
Yes. So we're going to get the CCID. We're going to, this is the compound dict. We're going to pass in.
Says, www.
Right, now we're going to run get data via CCID. Pass in the compound dict. And then this will become.
Says, do you have a job?
Yeah, I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I have a 9-to-5. I graduated back in 2021 with a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. If you guys are new here, please consider subbing along. I really appreciate you guys being here. We're almost at 220. Can we hit 220 here, you guys? I appreciate you being here. I stream every single day after my job, teaching myself how to code. I've been teaching myself how to code for 9 months now. This is my front end of my project. I've written React so far. So we have a simulator, SpectroSim, and so this plot is just a dummy plot. I converted my matplotlib backend to serving actually front-end plots via plotly.js. So at the beginning of the stream, the first half of the stream, we converted from matplotlib, just static images here, to having they render on the front end with plotly, so we can actually interact and like zoom in on the graphs and stuff on the front end itself, rather than having just static images, which is really cool here. So we converted to that, and then we styled it up appropriately. So it appropriately fits to the styling, which looks really nice. We just need to obviously do the colors, and we're trying to now actually get data to make this plot, right? So we have get data via dict. So that raises a key error. No, so this, except for a type error for invalid search response. If response, go into there and returned the response. Okay, so we're gonna say this is really nested and ugly. We'll refactor this later. I'll come back and refactor later. It's really nested and ugly right now, I know. Bro, it's him. Thanks, dude. So now let's return the compound dict name compound dict here, and then we're going to accept for a type error. So actually, web scraper, if we get a type error, we're going to raise a value error with this return, right? And so then in our main py, we can say as e here, and then we can return raise this here. So now let's see if that works. So we're having aspirin here. So now if I refresh this, we should get even more info. Oh, we're cooking, boys! Let's go! Okay, so now we're getting all of its data. So now if I give something that's not here, like my name, invalid. Whoa! This is fun. All right, here we go. Now, lastly, we have to do one more nest here. We'll probably convert these to functions within functions, so we can just call functions rather than having just nesting all this crap. Okay, so then let's go ahead and instead of returning this here, right, we're going to call try. And we're going to call extract abspectro, right, which is our function here, given the compound dict. And this raises a value error. We're going to okay. So extract, right? We're going to put in the compound dict.
Fort Neuron says no way bro is using nested try statements.
I've got to refactor this. I know. Just for now. Ignore your eyes. Uncle Bob would be disappointed in us. So accept a value error as E. Now let's return dict name compound dict here. All right, ready? So the extract ABS will raise a value error if it's nothing. And right, so we can handle that. Okay, invalid compound, perfect. Now if we give aspirin, yes! All right. Ha! Woo! We cooking now, man. Let's go. If you guys are new here, please sub along. We're almost at 220. Consider leaving a like too. Smash a like right now if you guys could. It really helps to keep pushing our stream, keep getting some new people in here. I have a Discord link down below where you can get access to all of my resources, community projects that we're working on, open source projects that for my own projects that I've opened up to you guys, my personal notes on weekly course breakdowns of CS50, book PDFs of books I read like CS50 or Python Crash Course, Pro Git, DSA in Python, Fluent Python. How I like in Twitch. You have to go to the YT. That's funny. Yeah, Twitch, they should add like a like feature on Twitch. All right, nice. That looks really good. Okay, we just need to refactor this down. Okay, and so now that we've gotten a compound, we need to save this compound into our
Urine says, "Goddamn, your coding knowledge base is more than my school memory."
Coding knowledge base. Well, we've only been doing this 11 months, you guys, so 11 months is, we've come a long way. A lot of hard work, streaming every single day. Now, don't get it twisted, guys. We stream every single day, 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes 4, 5. So, you know, I code a lot. I've been coding a lot. We've solved over 60 leak code problems on our account so far. We're going to start hopefully applying for some dev roles here soon in June is my goal, once I finish this project. What do you guys think though? Like, I often like to query or ask you guys, like, what do you guys think about my coding skills, like, and abilities? You guys can be honest. Give me your honest takes. If you want to break me down, break me down. But I don't have like any like peers or TAs, professors, colleagues to kind of compare to and bounce off like as if I was in school. Like, I'm just here by myself. So I really don't know like at what pace is kind of standard or whatnot. So in your opinion, like, where do you guys think I lie in terms of like ability, and like, do I have a shot at getting like a transition into tech as a dev role or something? Like,
says, "Bro, can you react to my Marvel superhero game in Python?"
Yeah, no worries. I can totally take a peek at that. Throw it in the project showcase in the Discord. That'll be a great.
Says, "Have you been enjoying lead code?"
Honestly, I much rather make projects. I'd much rather make projects and write these projects than do the leak code. I can burn like a good hour, hour and a half just trying over and over again leak code problems. And yeah, I learn about the algorithm or the pattern, but that hour and a half, I could have gotten so much work done on a project. Like, it's really quite crazy. Okay, so let's just add one final thing here to round this off. So after we get this, right, we want to...
Manoa says, "I'm still learning JS, so can't really criticize Mayo."
Data extraction successful. Save to the cache. Okay, so we're going to say with open, we're going to open the cache slash JSON here in append mode. As file, we're going to go So if you want to append an entry, so the thing is we already have the content loaded here on the initial query. So we can reference that same content So this is, our cache is still open technically in this file. So we don't need to open the file again. We can call, can we not just call content dot dump. We're gonna dump the compound dict on here. Okay, moment of truth. All right, here we go. Okay, so if I run Michael here, we should get an error. Okay, invalid, perfect, and nothing happened to our dict or our JSON database. But if I run aspirin here, something we don't have. Oh, no. Close. Okay, so dict object has no attribute dump. Content.dump. So content is currently a dict of dictionaries. A dict of dicts, each dict is a compound. Each subdict is a compound. So why can't I do, oh, JSON.dump. Okay, if we go here and we go Michael and run this, we should get the error. Perfect. 404 not found. Now if we run aspirin, we should get this update in this file. No. Missing one positional argument, FP. Support right. What is FP? Support right. No, in JSON.load. The file pointer. Right, our file pointers open up here. All right, let's try it now. Michael. All right, invalid compound. Aspirin. Let's open up our JSON here. Ready? Come on, show me the money. No! I'm curious. I want to see, I'm trying to do this all within one open of this file. Oh. I got it. Okay, so because we're opening this as file, not content. Content was what was dumped out or loaded out. So we need to run this as file. Ready? And now if we run aspirin, detail not writable. Dict object has no attribute. Oh, I'm ready for bed. Okay, we can refactor this down. So, found compound, get compound. With open. Okay. Okay, let's see here. So we get with open. So let's add a try here with open. Found content. Okay. And then we say except for file not found. Empty dictionary. We would have it be an empty dictionary. Try this content. Found content. Why am I getting an error here? Try this. Except for a file not found. Right. So if found compound. This back to where it was, and I'll say if found compound return. And else we can do this. Right. This is return no matter what. So try compound to get name. So right, compound dict. Little compound dict here. As spectro. Right. There we go. So once we get the content, we're going to go content. Compound dict name. Let's set it equal to the compound dict we found. Okay, then we say with open this in write mode with open JSON.compound dict onto file content. Right, and then we just return except if a value error or type error. That's E. So that's how we can clean it up here. Right? So we get the compounds, we wrap them all under here. Okay. Do I have to write the whole JSON doesn't support appending. Okay. That's why I have to write the whole thing again. Okay, so now let's go here to Michael gives me invalid compound name not found. Now if I give aspirin, file like object something with a write method. Content is a dict, not a file or a buffer. File. Okay, ready? Try this one more time. Ready? Let's revert this back. Now let's call aspirin. Ready? Yes. But that rewrote the whole thing. And if I query for blue, no UV vis data, if I do caffeine, I overwrite. So why am I overwriting? So let's look here. We get it. We go to the content, which was found here. Right, we load the content, load the file content onto here. we go into the content dictionary. Oh, we don't want to dump the compound dictionary. I want to dump the content. Like so. So now if I go back here and run caffeine, ready? Yes! Yes! Right, so we get, so let's run and let's add an indent here onto main. We got it, guys, we got it. Okay, let's add an indent here of 2. And then let's call aspirin here. Oh, so cool! So cool! Yo, this is awesome! You guys gotta leave a thumbs up for this one. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 221. I appreciate you guys for subbing along and joining me. So what we did, you guys, is we converted, right? We have our SpectroSim front end that I've been writing. Right, I've been very creative, doing a lot of artsy work over here. We converted our matplotlib Python plot generation backend into front-end plot generation using plotly.js. We converted that over today. So now we get interactivity on the plot from the front end, which is really nice. We do need to set up the download button as well and stuff for that, right? And we do need to set up for population actually receiving the data on the front end. But we needed to link some sort of search mechanism, right? API request for this search box was my first goal. So what I did was I created in my main py, I created a /compound, right? I'm gonna say absim absorb sim compound, right? Right, we'll say absorb sim compound. Right, we're still getting the aspirin, which is good.
Urine says I sent my project in Discord. Can you
Nice.
react and tell me some improvement areas?
Yeah, I can. I'll react to it probably. I'm not gonna react to it tonight. Unfortunately, it's too late tonight. But we've already been streaming 3.5 hours. But if you come back tomorrow, I can review it and we can check it out. Or I can just shoot you a personal message and then we can talk about it offline. So absorb sim compound. So right. I'm gonna return another dictionary entry where I'm gonna have quote from cache value of none. Right, so if I run this, okay, we can see that this is coming from the cache, right?
Ford Urine says all right tomorrow.
So if I do
Urine says thanks.
caffeine from cache null, right? So this is pulling from the cache. That's how it's. Yes. Okay, so I'll put here a print. We'll put an F string here. We'll say compound or found compound. Extracted from cache. Found compound. So now if we get found compounds, we'll get a print statement within our statement here of extracted from cache, right? Okay, so what we're doing here is we have an endpoint set up where if we don't get a name, right, we raise an error. We convert that name to a lower right away. We try to open up our database cache, and if there's no file there, we set it to blank, right? We set it to a blank content. Because no matter what, we're going to write some file, right? except for file not found, but open content this. So this should have the with open that was already taken place. It dumps it on there. But then what happens to content? If the file isn't found and you don't actually, and you hit this value error, you don't write content, right? Okay, good. Yeah. All right, so now we're successfully getting these. So we're returning them to the front end. So tomorrow what we'll do is we will receive that information, right, from submitting this input, and then we will populate and extract out that dictionary information and fill these data points. Woo! So what I do need to do though, is I do need to generate data though on this compound. So currently with our Python generation of this, right, in the classes compound here, we have generate Gaussian distribution and generate absorption. So you call this, you call the generate Gaussian distribution, that generates epsilon values or x values, and then you generate absorbance for those. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this generates 1,000 x values, right? Based off wavelengths. A list of wavelengths. For wavelength in wavelengths. We're going to generate an x value, an epsilon, right? And then we're going to use that epsilon to generate an absorption. And then, so these are the y values, and the x values are the wavelengths. So what we're going to need to do is we have this here. So I need to construct the object as a class, as the compound class, right? And then call those methods, generate distribution, generate absorption. And that'll generate me absorption values, which are y's. All right, you guys.
Fort Murin says, bro, what's your advice for a beginner who wants to learn machine learning and full stack web development before 2025 ends?
Linked or add endpoint for pub chem API query and data regex UV extraction. My advice, okay. My advice, dude, honestly, I would highly recommend just taking things step by step. It can feel very, very daunting to try to speed up, or try to speed up the process and try to like skip things. I try my best to just say, okay, whatever I can get done in this hour, over the course of a week, I can get a lot done. So don't try to rush things and really don't move on past things without, solidifying the knowledge. So something that I've really tried to do is that I don't move on to another topic until I feel really, really comfortable with my current one. I'm trying to take that opposite approach as some CS majors where they're kind of forced to go beyond into new subject matter without having solid understanding of the previous because they're forced to be on that schedule or that testing schedule, right? Me, I'm independent here, so there's no point in me moving on if I don't understand something. It really will only hurt me in the end and come back to bite me. And so I really tried to focus on learning things the proper way, learning the ins and outs, the reasons why behind things, asking the AI for reasons why when it suggests things rather than just taking things at face value.
Lauren says, bro, try to understand. I have not much time. I have set strict deadline of December 29, 2025.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've only been doing this 11 months, so if you kick into gear now, that's 6 months. You can get a lot done. I started streaming every single day about 6 months ago, and that's really when my progress skyrocketed. I was reading Python Crash Course and doing just simple Python projects about 2 or 3, 4 times a week on stream, and then I committed to doing everyday streams around the end of November 2024. And so since then, I've been doing daily streams, and the work and the learning has just compounded exponentially from that commitment alone. So honestly, the best advice I can give you is code every single day. Do math, solve problems, work on your problem solving skills every single day. By letting a day go by, you can start to feel the information start to fade. And the more and more I reinforce it, the longer buffer I have basically before the information starts to fade. So, you know, you really 6 months is a good amount of time. If you commit, you have to just be willing to commit to yourself to work every single day, because if you don't, unfortunately, I don't think 6 months is enough time to really gain a solid understanding and mastery of these types of subjects, because I'm still learning. I'm still in novice, intermediate realms, and I've been grinding every single day for 6 months, going in total 11 12 months now. So anyways, you guys, I really appreciate you guys being here and joining me today. We did a lot of work converting our matplotlib plot generations and static plots into dynamic plots with Plotly on the front end. We got it all formulated for responsiveness and everything, so it looks really good, which I am happy about. And then we successfully got a backend endpoint here within our Python.
Lauren says, yeah, bro, I agree. I stopped coding for 1 week.
Yeah, so we have a backend Python endpoint here for absorbsim compound, where we get the compound via the name, and then we can we do some simple Python code to just kind of extract out and call these functions I wrote to get the CID, get the data off the CID, and then extract the absim spectro information with regular expression off of that data file. So then we add it to our content, and then we save it onto our cache. As if it's new. If it's not new, meaning we already found it in our cache, we're just going to return it right away. So there is no needing to do any parsing here. And so that's the whole point of having the cache. And so now we're successfully getting compounds added to our cache and pulled from our cache when they're in there. And so you guys, it's really nice. This is looking really, really good so far. All right, you guys, this was a super productive stream. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out. Sorry I didn't get to any leak code today. I always say I'll try my best tomorrow to get to them, but the projects, I've been really grinding away, having a lot of fun with the projects. So this has been great. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, bro, I got stopped coding for 1 week from school group project, and I forgot major concepts in NumPy and Pandas. Yeah, dude, exactly. Like, you got to keep solidifying those concepts every single day. Anyways, you guys, please subscribe. Hey, we're at 2222. Woo! We got that angel number. Make a wish, guys. 2222. I'm gonna let's wish for 5K subs by the end of 2025. Bro. I have started to learn C. What should I do next? Have you taken Harvard CS50X? That'll help put your C knowledge to the test and also get you some introduction into web development, SQL, like backend, Python, I took Harvard CS50X live on the stream on the channel. I have re-uploads of my courses, of my of the weekly watch-alongs for each of the lectures. So go back and watch those. And you can go reference the streams. I live stream me completing the weekly problem sets and homeworks. So all of those answers are transparent for you guys to also learn from. So highly recommend. And then in my Discord link down below, you can access a weekly breakdown of that course. I did a only one day left to finish SpectroSim. Yeah, if we're trying to finish by the end of the May, then we're screwed. We missed the deadline. Our manager's gonna kill us. We're not gonna get the story points. Ah, the story points. No. Ah. My goal was to finish SpectroSim by the end of May, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So we're pushing it to the end of June. The end of June is when we're gonna finish this one. Thanks. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for liking, dude. Yeah, I stream every single day, so feel free to come back and join me every day. If you're wanting to also learn, use this platform as an opportunity to hold yourself accountable. I am really good at holding myself accountable and getting myself to code through my passion in programming and computer science. If you are wanting to kind of feed off of that passion, feed off of that, and do something into your own, your own way of learning, right? Then put the stream on in the background. If I'm allotting the time, then you can allot the time as well. Obviously with some leniency in there, but if I'm doing it, then you can too. So just put the stream on the background, hop in for the little bit of time that you have, and learn something. It doesn't have to be what I'm doing right here. It can be something just on your own screen, but just have the stream on the background to hold yourself accountable, to check in, to make sure you're getting your work done, get your homework done, yada yada yada. I know it's a stream, or it's summer for some of you guys. Yeah, JavaScript is in the Harvard CS50X course. I believe it is week 8. I believe JavaScript is week 8. And I believe week 9 is Flask. You guys can join my Discord to get access to all of my resources, an entire roadmap of my learning and programming journey so far. I've got weekly breakdowns of CS50X and CS50 courses, notes, books, repo links. I also share some of my stock plays in the off-topic chat every once in a while. I've had a few pretty good winners lately. But let me see here. CS50X. Week 9 is Flask. Week 7 is SQL. Yeah, week 8 is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I recommend taking a look back at some of my previous streams. Oh, we got another raid here. Hey, Chrono. Thanks so much for the raid. I appreciate you guys being here and joining me on Twitch. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Michael. I got a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I've been building a chemistry spectroscopy simulator for the past couple of weeks. This is my current front end of SpectroSim. I've been building it using React and Tailwind. I've been teaching myself React and Tailwind. This is my first time using Tailwind, where we have simulators, AbsorbSim, and then we wrote my backend functions here for actually generating the plots today. So we converted this plot into Plotly. Don't worry about the formatting. It's currently bad. It's just a dummy plot. But we wrote this backend endpoint here to actually get information from my API calls to pubchem.com. So we're using pubchem.com's API, its REST API, to actually query its database, and then we're using regular expression to parse the database, the return values of the JSON file to get actual UV spectrum data. So as you can see, we're getting names, CCIDs, solvent used, a lambda, and an epsilon used for this UV spectrum, and then we're using those individual value points to calculate various UV data, right? So for example, I'll show you guys this here. This should work. Oh, I don't have map. Yeah, it's not going to work here because I changed my file up, but I refactored it down and got rid of the Python script. But what it does is it simulates spectroscopy curves, basically, which are these guys. Which are spectral information. These kind of peak curves, like imagine like a Gaussian curve that went over these. I can, hold on, let me go like this. Actually, never mind. Checks out. Right, so then that's what we're doing here. So now we're successfully actually getting these plots information. So what we'll do tomorrow is actually set up the returns to get the information here and populate these various, whatnot. I also need to modify my regular expression script to actually get a short description from PubChem as well. So when we research aspirin, if I go to title and structures, we have a description section, and I need to parse out the first like 2 sentences or something of this. So like here, also known as aspirin. So I need to parse out a description as well. So I can include that right here. And then I'll put these data point values here, and then we'll plot the curve here. With my my functions here, the generate Gaussian distribution and the generate absorption. So the Gaussian distribution generates factored x values to generate y values to have a bell curve, right? Which is pretty cool. I know nothing about chemistry, so bear with me. No worries. Is there any conjecture like any material can be used as a solvent under some specific conductive conditions? Like kind of like as long as like the solvent has to have some ability to be able to like dissolve the material. So it has to have some sort of like, corrosive properties in order to be able to, or at least like, water can be a solvent for certain compounds, like, but it has to be able to dissolve in that certain solvent, right? Yeah, super liquid solvent. Exactly. So the solvent has to be abrasive enough to actually, homogenize that compound into its solution, which basically means just get it into liquid form and through fluid. All right, you guys. I started to bail out on the Twitch. I was just wrapping up my stream for tonight. We've been streaming for 3 hours and 51 minutes. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry. I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company, and I stream every single day after my job to keep the learning going. Let's go ahead and get a Twitch raid on here. How about, yeah? To end the night. Don't mind all my CSGO following. I like watching CS sometimes. I haven't played video games in like 2 years. I've been wanting to build another PC on stream with you guys and use it for like server work and also to play CS with you guys and open some cases for some giveaways. I think would be fun, but I haven't got to it yet. I keep thinking of all the stocks I can buy with the same amount of money I buy a PC with. Making a Blender scene, learning Blender. Scripting language in Rust. Noob does coding, making a new plugin. Game dev. Here I am. Biochemist learns programming. This guy's using React. We should, let's go here.
He's a good student. He's had a good teacher. Teacher only as good as his students. Since Miyagi told me that.
Come on, this ad, brutal.
Every time I have the chance to pass on a piece of his legacy.
Very cool. FYI, I'm a data scientist, but I did a PhD in chemical engineering, really because I emphasize with the learning. Empathize with the learning switch. Oh, nice, dude. Thanks so much for the raid, and I appreciate you coming in here and hanging out with me. Yeah, I've heard about the alpha fold, like the protein of alpha proteins foldings. I think that'd be so interesting to kind of go dive into. What are you looking for stocks? Currently playing Apple right now. Just caught that nice move up here in the after hours. I've been holding on to my Apple calls though for a few weeks. Currently, I was down about 30% on them, but I thought Apple was one of the most undervalued Fortune 500 companies or Mag 7 companies, and out of them all right now, below $200. And my assumption I think is correct, given the move today after hours. All right, let's raid here. I post my stock plays, some of them in the Discord though, for fun. All for fun though, so it's all for fun. I definitely lose money sometimes. Oh, he's not doesn't speak English.
Yo, salut Mickaël. Merci pour
Oh, sorry guys. It's I think it's French. My bad. Is it French or is it Portuguese? Oh, my bad. So he's using React. Interesting. So he's using some JavaScript here. Confirm delete account middleware. Interesting. All right, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.